Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making custom magnets using the Cricut machine, the print and cut feature, and an inkjet printer. This is a perfect project for personalizing your fridge or creating unique gifts. It's super fun. I'll be using these 8x10 magnetic sheets that I bought on Amazon. For the thickness, it says 20 mils, and I believe that is 0.5 millimeters. So that is a good size where it will fit inside the Cricut machine. I'm also using printable sticker paper. I'm using the brand NATO labels, and I love this. This is my go-to for like stickers. I like the super glossy waterproof kind. Also, they give me codes every once in a while, and right now I have one. It's Kayla25 off, and you get 25% off, which is such an amazing deal. It's from Amazon. So I'll just put all the info down in my description box if you are looking for some good sticker paper. I'm over in Creative Fabrica where I'm first going to grab my design for my magnets. I found this one and I thought it was so cute. I'm currently introducing letters to my toddler, and I liked how this one had both upper and lowercase next to each other, and it had cute little images next to each letter. So I downloaded this and it went over to my downloads folder. I pay for Creative Fabrica's All Access membership, and look how amazing this deal is that they have. I share this constantly on my channel just because I love Creative Fabrica so much. I have had their membership for a long time, and you can download whatever you want if you're a part of it. And they have SVGs, fonts, sublimation images, projects. But their yearly deal right now is just the best. It comes out to $3.99 a month, which is just insane. You pay $47 for the entire year, and there is just thousands and thousands of things to download. And these all have a commercial license. So if you sell your projects, this is a fantastic website to use. Also, you can try this out for free, and I believe download up to 10 images and see if you like it. If you don't, you can always cancel it. I'll just put links down in my description box for it. I'm back in Cricut Design Space, and I've already uploaded all of the letters. If you are new to Cricut, I'll show you how I did this really quickly. I'll just click Upload Image and Browse. Here's what the folders look like in my Downloads folder, and I am going to choose Combined, and I'm going to do PNG since I'll be using Print and Cut for this. Here's all of the letters. Sadly, you do have to upload each one separately, so it does take a little bit of time, but I'll just upload this to show you what happens. I'll hit continue. I want a flat graphic. Aren't these designs just so cute? I thought they were super fun. There was tons to choose from, so it's kind of hard to pick, but I just thought it was really cute. So it's going to pull in here really large. For my sizing, I'm just going to start off with about 2.5 inches for the height, and I might end up adjusting it. So I'll go in here and do that, and I'll hit enter. Now, since I have the rest already uploaded, I'm just going to go into here, and I am going to add all of these into the canvas. And to do that, it's pretty quick and easy. You just hit this plus sign for all of these. Now I can click view. They're all going to pull in super large. I am going to hit the lock button up here, and then I'm going to try doing 2.5 inches for the height and see if it only did the first one, and I accidentally uploaded the A. So I'm just going to click on each one and make it 2.5 inches. Okay, I have all of these sized. Now I'm going to just move them around so I can see all of these a lot easier. Okay, I organized all of these and separated them out. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any letters. Now what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see this. So looking at some of these letters, like in between the F, and there's some other pieces here, like just these little spots in the N and kind of in the yarn in here. I wasn't sure how well those would cut out with a thick magnet, so I decided that I'm going to do an offset. It just makes it a lot easier to have just a little background around it, and it just doesn't have to cut out as much. I'm going to start with my A, so I'll click on this, and then I am going to select offset. I'm going to move the letter to the side. It makes it easier to see the drop down. And then I'm just going to lower this where I think it looks good. I think I'm going to try 0.069. I'll hit apply. It automatically does black for the background, but I think I'm going to do the color white. You can see there's still going to be a cut inside the letters, and I have just been going back and forth if I want to fill that or not. I decided I'm just going to, but it's up to you. You can try it just like that. To fill that in, I'm going to use my contour button. I need to make sure my offset is selected, and if you look in the layers panel, you can see that it is. But the contour button is grayed out, and that is because it's set to a print thin cut. So I need to go in here and switch it to a basic cut. For some reason, it changes the color to gray. I'm not sure why, but I'll hit contour, and then I'm going to hit hide all contours. It will automatically keep the top image, which is our main image. So that's a quick and easy way to do that. I'll click out, and now I have this filled up. I am going to switch this to white. Now the last thing I need to do with this is highlight over both. Then I need to come down here and select flatten. That'll turn it back into a print thin cut, and it'll basically fuse those two offset and image layers together. So that one is done. So that one's done. It looks like for the height, it's a little over 2.5 inches now. I think what I'm going to do is make it a little bit smaller, but I am going to follow the same process for all the other letters. And I'll just show you a couple more. I'll go up to offset, and what's nice is it automatically keeps that same inches, and I want it to be the same so it'll look uniform. I'll hit apply. And another thing I was thinking, I uploaded all of these as PNGs. You could upload these as SVGs. That way you don't have to go back in and switch each one of these layers to a basic cut to use the contour button, if that makes sense. So you might want to upload these as an SVG. It might be easier. To make this go a little faster, I'm not going to change this color to white. I'm going to use the color sync for all, and I'll show you how I do that. Then I'll have to go back in and flatten everything, but I think that will be the easiest way to do it. So let me click on this, hit apply, switch this to a basic cut, and then hide all contours. So I did this eye, and it looks like the contour button is still grayed out. That's because there's nothing to contour in this. At first I was like, why is it doing that? But that's because there's nothing to contour. Okay, now I'm finally done with the offset. Now I'll show you how to change all of these gray backgrounds to white. Since I already have one white color, I'll go over to color sync. And for some reason, the white is not showing up, maybe because it's flattened together. Let me try hitting unflatten. It's still not showing up for some reason. Let me switch the B. So I'll click on the offset for the B to white, and okay, it's showing up. I have no idea why the A isn't. That is so odd. Maybe because I had originally flattened it. But anyways, what you do is you just take this top layer and literally just drag it down into that, and it changes all of them at the same time. So that's super nice. Now I need to go in and flatten each offset to the letter. So I'm just gonna drag over both of these. You can see in the layers panel that they're both selected. Then I will come down to the bottom and select flatten. And I'll just do the exact same thing for all of the letters. Okay, I have everything flattened together. I'm just gonna click on one of these, and it looks like the height is 2.639. It should be that for all of them. And if I click make it, let's see what it's going to look like. It's gonna pull it onto 6 different mats, and it looks pretty big, so I think I'm going to make these smaller. I think a good size for the height would be about 1.5 to 2 inches, but I am going to do 2 inches and see how that looks. I think that'll be good. Okay, now that I have all of that size, let's go to the Make It screen and see how it looks. That looks so much better. It only goes on to 3 pages, and the size looks great. What I'm going to do next is hit continue, send to printer. I'm actually going to turn my blade off just because it has a white border around it, and I'm going to toggle on my use system dialog. I'll hit print. I am going to go to media and quality, and I am going to switch it to best. Then I'll hit print. I load my paper into my printer. I also always get the question, what printer am I using for my inkjet printer? And it's an Epson Workforce. I've had it for a really long time, and it's great. The model that I use is discontinued, but they have several other kinds with different models. The only thing I would say is the downfall with it is it's pretty large, but other than that, it works great. Here's what it looks like after it's printed. Now I'm ready to grab one of the magnetic sheets. Next, what I'm going to do is remove the backing on the magnetic sheet, and it's sticky on the back, and this was super sticky, which is great. Then I remove the backing of the sticker paper. Then I place both sticky sides together. What I do is the printable paper, I lay it face down on my table. Then I take my magnetic sheet and line it up. You want to make sure you cover the entire registration marks and even a little bit of the white edges past those too. Then I go in with my brayer tool to press it down. I also take my squeegee with my felt side to press this down as well to try to get out any air bubbles. And I did have some air bubbles. That is something that is just difficult to avoid. The edges for the printable sticker paper was super sticky, and I just didn't want it sticking to my mat, so I went in and trimmed the edge. Just make sure if you do that, there's still enough white edge past that black border. I was really close there. Sometimes the Cricut just cannot read it without a white edge past it. For this project, I'm going to be using my deep point blade. What's nice about this is you can use this on other machines besides just the Cricut Maker. Now I'm ready to select my cut setting. I'll hit Browse All Materials and I'll search for magnetic sheets. There's an option for 1mm and 0.5mm. The sheets are 0.5. It does have the printable paper on top, so it might not quite cut all the way through. If it doesn't, I'll test it out and I can always have the Cricut run it again, and I'll show you if I end up doing that. Also, if I go to material settings, you can see how many times it will cut and the cut pressure, which is really helpful. It looks like the 0.5 cuts through 2 times and the 1 cuts through 7 times. I'm also going to switch my pressure to more. I place my magnet and printable vinyl sheet on my cutting mat. You'll want to make sure that your cutting mat's pretty sticky. If it's not, then either use your strong grip mat or you can add some tape around the edges as well. The Cricut will read the registration lines, then it will start cutting out the letters. I decided to see if it cut all the way through. Don't automatically unload the mat when you're checking this, and as you can see, it didn't fully cut through, so I pressed the sheet back down onto the mat. Then I just push the start button again and it'll go through and just cut around all the letters one more time. By not unloading the mat, it'll make sure everything is in the same spot so you are able to cut it again and it's all centered and lined up. I decided to check it and it did cut through. I did have to kind of peel it off of the mat though, so I decided to unload it. So the Cricut cut around each letter twice and I ran it through 2 times, so that means it cut around it 4 times. So I decided for my next cut, I would just choose the 1mm setting and that would cut around it 7 times and see how that goes. Now I'm printing off my second sheet and I will follow the same process. I will take the backing off of the magnetic sheet and the printable paper and just attach them together. Then once again, I take my brayer tool to press it down and I use my squeegee to try to get out any bubbles. Then the Cricut will cut it out. So using this setting, it cut it out 7 times, and as you can see, it cut out really well. I did have an issue the last time, so I'll show you that in just a second. Here I'm printing the last one. Also between each cut, I took out my deep cut blade because look at all the little pieces on it. It's not going to cut as well with that, so I definitely recommend cleaning it after each use. So this time when it was cutting, some of the letters were kind of picking up because it was just cutting through too much, I believe, and I didn't have it filming. I wish I did, but when it got down to the C, some piece got stuck in the rollers and it totally messed up the cut for the C and the A. My Cricut was blinking red where the start button is, so that was a little scary, but thankfully I was able to just unplug my Cricut and plug it back in and remove the mat. So if you're making this project, I would definitely do a test cut, but I would probably recommend the 0.5mm setting, and then you can always have the Cricut run it through one more time if it didn't cut, but definitely play around with it and see what works best for you. Here's another look at how these turn out. They are so cool, and you can personalize them however you like with the Cricut. I've gotten magnetic save the dates before, or they could even be like party favors. So many possibilities. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up. I would also love it if you subscribed and hit the bell to get notifications when I post new crafty videos.